Welcome back on Deck on CSR with Charles Barnes, Richey, and of course Reese Ruler right now. Hopefully the Lakers will be feeling that kind of success closing out soon right now, as this has been a year of heartbreak for them as a franchise, losing the late, great Kobe Bryant right now, trying to wrap up their third longest drought in franchise history as they're looking to bring home championship number 17. It's been 10 years. Their longest drought in franchise history was 18 years when they went from 1954 to 1972, the last of their original 5 championships being from the three-peat Minneapolis Lakers, which won their 5th and final championship as the Minneapolis franchise before they won it with Jerry West and, of course, Wilt Chamberlain. Guess who else was on that team, Reese? Want to take a guess? Reese? Oh.
Sorry, I had to mute. I'm so sorry. No, I said, who else was on that team?
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley. That is right. Good old Pat Riley.
Yeah, if you take a close look right there, I heard it from somewhere. If you remember the famous scene when they won that championship in 1972, they had largest winning streak, I think, to this day at 33 games, where they won 69 games, lost 13. And where you see Jerry Rush running on the court, guess who was next to him? That was Pat Riley right there as a basketball player, hanging on Jerry West right there when they won that.
Oh, and now he playing against his old team. So which is, like I said, which is the
executive, yep.
Yeah. Like I said, hats off to both teams. I think both teams have done a, great job. The Heat overcame obstacles and they got grit, never back down. Anytime you thought that they needed, and needed someone, they showed that all they needed was each other. Unfortunately, no Dragic, no Bam last game. I mean, I still think, period, even with them first game, that they almost won by 30. I just think with these new people in, people kind of slack off. Nobody's going to really guard Leonard, shooting threes and all the other guys. So I believe them other guys stepped up and hit some shots. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. He was wide open most of them shots. Like, oh no, it's good. He was wide open for most of them shots. So I believe that now they be like, okay, I'll put more of a hand up to him. But he's only played one time, game 3. So of course nobody's gonna go out there. That's why I believe that the game was closer than what it should have been. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that the Heat have a chance to win any game. I never seen 2 people on a mission. They was put on stats as Kobe and Shaq. LeBron James, once again, first with another triple-double. I understand that Anthony Davis is scoring 30 points a game, but to me, gotta give it to LeBron James right now as the MVP of the series.
Yeah, but you know what? I would make the argument that between LeBron James and Anthony Davis, I would dare make the argument, why not, just like the Super Bowl in the NBA, let's have a first time in the NBA history where there's co-MVPs. Because to be honest with you, man, they have both been the Batman Robin. Why not have a co-MVP in the NBA Finals like you did with Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling in the 2001 World Series? I mean, right now, as it stands, from that contest, you still got Anthony Davis getting the edge over LeBron James. When you look at their total overall points, you got LeBron James at 459 points and Anthony Davis at 498 points. Both of them averaging at least a double-double in this contest when we look at it. At the end of the day, or your triple-double, I should say. The thing is, Anthony Davis, the highlight of the playoffs is going to be him hitting that game-winning 3 in Game 2, I feel, against the Nuggets right there. That's going to be the highlight of the series right here. I am telling you right now, last night, the way the Lakers played that team, look, it's the finals. Don't expect the Heat to, just sit and roll over for them that easily right there. Eric Spoelstra has been a very close assistant to Pat Riley. He started with the Heat organization as the videographer of this team, setting up videos and coaching videos for them to study opponents before he became a scout and then an assistant under Riley as well as a scout, then up to head coach 12 years ago. Eric Spoelstra's done a wonderful job with this team over the years, but I tell you what, Speaking of coaches, I like Frank Vogel. He's been a fit with this Lakers team right here. I've been liking his coaches' challenges throughout the playoffs right here. You can definitely tell, I think LeBron James, I think he's more comfortable aside from Ty Lue. I got to believe this got to be his second best coach he's played under. Frank Vogel has definitely really clicked with these guys right here. Rajon Roundo's been definitely distributing the ball very well. I'm going to say if they win the finals, let's take co-MVPs. LeBron James and Anthony Davis share the MVP award. What do you say about that?
I mean, if that could happen, agree. But like I said, I understand Anthony Davis is out there. I think he had like 30 plus with 14 rebounds. I understand stats, but the way that LeBron James is leading this team, like you got to understand that if you're looking at points per game, okay, Anthony Davis is going to win. But when you look at rebounds, assists, calling plays, LeBron James, like directing traffic, calling defense, it's sometimes, but he got to get Anthony in the game, you know? Like, that's what I'm saying. Anthony just having a field day. It was no Bam down there. He should have dropped 30 and 14. You know what I'm saying? So LeBron James going out there battling against the best defenders every night, making his teammates better. I just got it. If it's not Cole, I just have to give it to LeBron James. It's going to kill all the doubters, especially after being runner-up to the MVP. It'll be saying, huh, you know what, Giannis? Sure, you was season MVP, but I got the one that mattered. Finals MVP, kind of like how Mike felt about Karl Malone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that is true. I think like just because LeBron James, he's doing it all around. I could definitely see your argument right there. I mean, in that regard, when we look at it. NBA championship. But, I mean, at the end of the day, too, I just feel like right now, the way a lot of people are looking at me, you heard from many people where it's like Charles Barkley. I think Shaq is even kind of like pointed in on it. Stephen A. Smith. I think if any way, if Anthony Davis does win the finals over LeBron, does this take a little bit of a slight at LeBron James as far as his GOAT status? Does this hurt him at all? Does he need the NBA Finals MVP? Because think about it. It's one thing to win it, be the first guy to win it with 3 teams, but win NBA Finals MVP with 3 different teams.
I don't think it takes light. You know, I think it just shows that that LeBron James had a hell of a player and beside him, you know, like he said. So it's a like I said, it's a toss up. I can definitely see co-MVP, but we can look at players like how you said football. It's times where Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady wasn't always the MVP, and we look at him as the greatest of all time to play football. So it's times where the great. If we look at when Iguodala of the Golden State, Iguodala of the Golden State won MVP, and we know that on that team, we know that he was on a team where it was at least 5 people, you know, like better than him. So I don't think, you know, that's taking shine from him. Period, because if it didn't to take shine from players away like Curry, then I don't think it should take anything away from Bron.
Again, if you guys want to join in on the conversation, if you guys want to share us your thoughts, you can definitely hit us up right now on the Facebook, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com page. We're streaming live of right now. We'll definitely have a podcast of the show later on throughout sometime today. You can also check out our YouTube channel right now. That's under Charles J. Richey. We'll have some working on that later on. But right now, we are talking NBA Finals. NBA fans tuning in. Is it a done deal that the Heat will not get a game? That's the million-dollar question right now as far as it stands right now. I got to tell you, for right now, it's been interesting because Stephen A. Smith is still one of the guys who goes on record. I mean, looking at a guy like LeBron James, when we look at it, and everything. And, I mean, he's even said plenty of times on this. And he was on talking with Michael the Playmaker Irving, one of his friends. They usually love to rip each other on a lot. But they were talking about how they felt it was important. I mean, like how he viewed LeBron James in the MVP discussion. I mean, the GOAT discussion. Here's what Stephen A. Smith had to say. He was on with Michael Irvin on his new podcast, the Michael Irvin podcast. Take a listen to this, Reese.
I ask you why he can't ever be the GOAT in your mind. I asked you what you said today. And even if he won the next 3 championships, you're telling me he still can't. And that's not to be. That's impossible. That's impossible. If he wins the next 3 championships, he still can't be the GOAT.
I'm still gonna point to the fact that he's lost 6.
I gotta let you run.
He's lost 6 titles.
Yeah, but that's in a different time when people when Boston was able to build the big 3, when Kawhi can run over and go, it's a different time. Kawhi can run and go add to a team like Toronto. So it's just a different time.
Mad respect. Kobe Bryant went to 7 finals, won 5. If LeBron wins this year, and I believe he will, I picked him at the beginning of the season, he'll still have 1 less than Kobe.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
So you'll pick that up, I believe, Reese, right there with Stephen A. Smith and Michael Irvin right there. Stephen A. Smith has it set in his mind, and I kind of have to side with him a little bit. I can't necessarily pull him over Jordan, but having lost in the finals 6 times, he's given him at least respect 6 and 3. Is that respect or haterade on LeBron James?
I mean, I believe that's facts. I don't think it's haterade. LeBron James is a GOAT. That's what everybody understands. He is a GOAT, but he's not the GOAT. There's only one GOAT, and that's Michael. Went to it 6 times, won it 6 times, and it's not even that. He just did it in the modern era. Everybody said, what about Bill Russell? He got 10. It was like 9 teams in the league. He was the tallest person. Come on now. But we talking about in modern day era, we look at players based off that. Yeah, LeBron James has went to the finals 10 times. He's been to the franchise. He's been to more finals than about 90% of the NBA. And to not give him the respect that is needed is crazy. Is he the GOAT? He would never ever surpass the great Michael Jordan. And Stephen A. is right. Them championships do hurt. Even though he carried bomb teams, them championships do hurt. But I believe that I'm with Stephen A. Even if he win the next 3, he does not pass Michael Jordan, but he is a GOAT. He's the second best player to ever touch the court, if you ask me.
See, and here's the thing you gotta understand too about Bill Russell's Celtic-led teams. I know we're just talking about that, and I go back and forth with quite a few people on this, but let's be honest though too. I mean, Bill Russell's playing at a time where NBA barely debuted. I mean, when he won those championships, it was barely like a decade or 2 old at the time. And let me give you an ultimate fact about this too right now. Think about it like this. You had 8 teams in the NBA, 16 teams in Major League Baseball, if you want to go into another sport. At the end of the day, the 20th century was where sports really started to barely expand. Baseball is always going to get the nod as America's pastime. Boxing and fighting has always been around for centuries. But if you really think about it, baseball started late 19th century before the World Series came, early 20th century. Then you had hockey around that time. Hockey was the original 6 with the Stanley Cup, even though in the first early Stanley Cup years, you had some outsiders that would contend for the Stanley Cup that was not part of the NHL and NBA. My whole point is with Bill Russell, you can't blame him for the era that he was in. He's playing at a time where sports is hardly getting any recognition. It was not on the level where we saw more teams in different sport leagues. There was barely any expansion. So he had to play with the cards that were dealt. And not only that, Bill Russell, at the end of the day, he never lost to the Lakers. I mean, when you look at him, when you look at his career, he's 7-0 against the Lakers, including the Minneapolis Lakers. That was not the George Mikan Lakers. He was already retired about 4 years prior to that first loss. Think about that. You dominated.
Are you really defending 8 teams?
Wilt Chamberlain.
Are you really defending 8 teams? Are you defending 10 rings to 8 teams? Come on, man. It was not enough
I understand
competition
it, but my point is, too, everyone always talks about eras. The problem is sports was barely growing. It was barely multiplying during those times. It was barely new to everybody. Basketball was still a baby. It didn't debut until 1946. Very first ever NBA finals was 1947. That was the BAA championship for the first few years.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, I'm never saying you're right. I can't criticize him for his era. He's an all-time great. I never criticize him, but that's the reason why when you look at it, Michael Jordan is it. It's modern day era was actually, the sport has evolved into what it is today, and he left a stamp on it. He said, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. You're going to go to the finals 6 times and win it 6. You're not going to lose nothing. That's to put him on the pedestal. The next person to do it, you look at Kobe. Like you said, Kobe went at 7, 5. That's pretty damn good. But when you look at, and I'm a LeBron James fan, I tell him, but when you go there 10 times and you're going to bring back 4, like, yeah, for sure. Like, everybody said, like, Jordan stopped a lot of people from getting championships. LeBron did, too. LeBron stopped a lot of people from going to the finals. But even though he played against the Spurs, he played against the one of the greatest teams ever assembled, Golden State. He did go through obstacles, but he will always be looked at it like that. And 40%, because he should win this from 4 out of 10. And then even if he win 2 more, like he said, that's 6 out of 12.
Yeah, I gotta admit,
that's a lot.
You gotta admit though, I don't know about you, but I couldn't help but barely control the smile on my face. I love watching and listening to Michael Irvin and Stephen A. Smith go back and forth. I know it's a history with him being a Dallas Cowboy. Always gets on Stephen A. Smith's nerves right there, being around that fan base. He does give him the respect, but it just kind of made me laugh a little bit when Stephen A. Smith was like talking about the same passion how Michael Irvin has with the Cowboys. And like how Stephen A. Smith, you know how he is with his basketball right there, but I feel like Michael Irvin was trying to tame him down a little bit. He's like, no, not my watch, bro. It's like, this is my show right here. I felt like there was like some moving of the goalpost right there, to be honest.
For sure. Like I said, LeBron James is definitely a GOAT, but, he has to understand it. And that's why he got to get the job done. He went against some great teams, man, some great teams. First time against the Spurs, had nobody on the Cleveland Cavaliers, swept, he lost to a Dallas team that they felt like they shouldn't have lost to. It's just some hiccups. So I understand that he is the second greatest player to ever touch the floor. I mean, him and Kobe will always be tied to me, but it's only one GOAT, and he also 23, but he played for the Bulls.
Yeah, no doubt about it, though. But I tell you what, the interesting people who I'd be interested to see once the Lakers, if they do find a way to finish the job, which I think we anticipate they will. I like to see the reaction finally. I know he's been feeling it coming for a long time, but Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp right there. I can't wait to see what the next GOAT match is going to look like this time around. They finish this right here. So we'll see about that. But for right now, coming up next, NFL COVID cases slowly starting to make its way once again the reality. We saw it last week with the Atlanta Falcons backup cornerback and AJ Terrell, and plus some Steelers Titans players right now. We're up to 10 players right now so far who has tested positive for COVID-19. Tested positive. These are not the players who opted out of the season. The players who are playing right now. We got Patriots Chiefs game. Is it going to possibly be canceled or rescheduled for another week? We'll get back to you on that. You're watching Listen to On Deck with me, Charles Prodigy Richey, and Reese Ruler.
Doc got a job.
Yep.
Doc Rivers, he got a job too, y'all.